Welcome back to the Seeing Red MMA podcast here. It is I, Dustin. I have returned. I know I was gone for a while. I mean, if you've watched before, haven't posted a video in quite some time. So this is the first one back since I don't even know what card I did the last analysis on. But I think what I'm going to start doing is instead of doing it for every single card, after this long hiatus, I am going to do it just for the big cards, like the one featured behind me. We have Alexander Volkanovski defending his featherweight belt against basically one of the hardest hitters at 145 and one of the most skillful boxers, Ilia Topuria. And man, what a matchup this is. Just a couple of key notes. One big thing is that Volk is coming off of this head kick loss to Makhachev back in, I believe it was October. I'm not really going to have the laptop in front of me and making sure all the data is correct and whatnot. I mean, I'm just going to kind of shoot from the hip because I feel like I get the best results, and just talking freely is kind of my thing when it comes to this. Using more of the data and just factual evidence is kind of left up to the professionals, which I am definitely not. This is just kind of fun for me. But regardless of that, this card is bonkers. You got these guys in the main event fighting for the featherweight belt. Volk is basically leaning into this old man kind of thing, dressed up like an old man at the press conference, had that hilarious, I guess what you would call promo or commercial, where he dressed up like an old man, and my laptop just kind of went dark behind me. Give me 1 second. And we're back. See? Like I said, not a professional, just kind of having fun. It's probably going to do that again. So, yeah, if I turn around again, it's because it did that. But you obviously see because the screen will go black again. Either way, this card is phenomenal. Like I said, featherweight belt in the main event. Co-main event, Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. This is a very tough fight for both guys, especially for Robert Whittaker coming off of the loss against the new middleweight champion, Dricus du Plessis. And Paulo Costa is just looking to get back in there. He was scheduled to fight Hamza when Volkanovski fought Islam on that same card back in October. We all know how that went. If you don't remember, Costa hasn't fought since August of 2022, so he's been out for quite a while. So I'm interested to see how he looks in this return. Obviously, you got henrycejudo versus merabdvalishvili, so that should definitely go the distance. Iangarry versus Geof Neal, what a banger that is. I don't care what you have to say about Iangarry. He is fun to watch. He is exciting. Regardless of what's going on in his personal life, that doesn't pertain to his actual fighting style, which I just so happen to enjoy. So, whatever. Deal with it. Also, you got Anthony Hernandez fighting Roman Kopylov, opening up the main card, and Roman Kopylov is taking this fight on 2 weeks' notice, and he is an underdog. He's last time I checked, when I placed my parlay, he was a plus 200. So, he's nasty. He's got 4 knockouts in a row, or 4 finishes in a row. They're all knockouts. The dude's a striker, so that's gonna be a banger. Anthony Hernandez is on a win streak of his own. More of a grappler heavy guy himself. And there's a couple of other key fights on the card too. But, I mean, this card is fantastic. Just to dive right into the main event here, there's a lot of questions that Volkanovski needs to answer for this one. Like, the old man gimmick. Is he old and washed up? Can he hold off the Topuria onslaught? I mean, if you watch Topuria's last fight against Emmett, I know he didn't get the finish, but damn, did he look good going all 5 rounds and prove that he can go the distance. So that alone, especially against such a tough guy like Emmett, dropping him multiple times and just showing great distance control, great boxing, timing, really kind of just fighting with a lot of aggressiveness. Like, he's got a type of fighting style where he is trying to inflict pain upon his opponents. If he doesn't knock you out, he's going to hurt you in the process. Like, he is a finisher. He goes for it. That being said, I mean, we all know Volkanovski. He's probably the featherweight GOAT now. I mean, a lot of people might say Jose Aldo, Max Holloway. He's beat both those guys, and he's defended the belt more than those guys. So, by default, I give it to Volkanovski, especially with the competition nowadays, has stepped up tremendously especially since Aldo's been champion, and I mean Max has been champion as well too. Even though they do have similar fights and defenses, regardless of that, this fight is fantastic. Is this going to be one of those showings where it's did you forget? Did you forget who Volkanovski is? The former number 1 pound for pound on the fighter, currently number 2 pound for pound fighter in the UFC or in the world? Or is Topuria really going to have one of those Conor McGregor moments, like when Conor fought Aldo? I mean, he is drawing a lot of similarities. A lot of people are saying, especially after that press conference when snatching the belt off of the press conference table. I mean, some people might say he's trying to beat Conor. Can't blame him. Got Conor a lot of success. So, I mean, hey, you got a blueprint that works. Might as well follow it. I mean, would I like to see him kind of go his own way? Obviously. But, hey, if it works, it works. I'm not going to knock the guy. He'd beat the shit out of me. Both of these guys would. So, all the power to you. But as far as predictions and breakdowns, I mean, this fight it's very close. And the money line definitely shows that as well, too. I mean, Topuria is a extremely, and I mean extremely slight underdog, like a plus 110. And I think Volk is like a minus 120. So it's even money right there. So as far as who I would bet on, I wouldn't bet on this fight. I would just sit back and enjoy the fireworks because there's really no way this fight's not going to be fireworks, especially with Volk. If he can find those openings and just time him and just kind of download the data like he does in most of his fights, like the Yair fight, things like that, I expect Volk to go in there and do what he does and take this kid to school. On the other hand, Topuria is also a finisher, and the screen just went black, so bear with me one moment while I turn around and fix this. And we're back. See? Not a professional. Told you I wasn't. Also, like I was saying, I don't think this fight's going the distance. If it goes the distance, either Topuria is very tough, and he was able to withstand pretty much a technical masterclass by Volkanovski, or Volkanovski is able to survive the onslaught of Topuria. Either way, this fight is fantastic. The only thing I have questions for is what does Volk do if he does get past Topuria? Where does he go from this? He's basically cleaned out the entire featherweight division. Who else is there for him? Evloev? Evloev's like only top 5 win, if he was even in the top 5, was Arnold Allen. And that was controversial at most, so I don't think Evloev's done enough to get a title shot. Maybe if he fights the loser of Ortega versus Yair coming up, I think that's next week in Mexico. There you go. You might have your next title challenger if he gets past Brian Ortega. But even then, I mean, who else? I mean, he's gone up to lightweight twice, lost to the champ there twice, once pretty close, second time pretty definitive, even though he was coming off the couch drinking some beers and basically said that he took the fight because he was falling into a little bit of a depression. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but that's what the gist I got from it, is that he was, when he doesn't have a reason to train or anything like that, he kind of gets in his own head. So a busy Volk is a dangerous Volk. That's what I think. So, yeah, I think this could be good for him, but also coming off that knockout loss could be bad for him. Only time will tell. We're about, I would say it's like midnight right now, so maybe, what is that, like, I don't know, you can do the math, 20 hours away from now, we will find out. Maybe around there. I don't know. Don't do the math, whatever. I'm on the West Coast, Arizona Mountain Standard Time. What up? But Topuria, I mean, if he wins, who does he fight? Does he fight Yair if Yair beats Ortega? Ortega definitely doesn't get a title shot off beating Yair. He's been inactive for so long, and literally his last fight was when he fought Yair and blew his shoulder out. No real winner in that fight. It was just a freak accident. So, I mean, who else do you give him? Max is fighting Justin in April at 300. He's going up to lightweight, so that's kind of out of the equation. And even Topuria said he doesn't want to give Max a title shot, which I think money talks. And if you get Yair and Topuria in there, there's a big market for the Spanish-speaking market there. I mean, you got two guys that are fluent in Spanish. That's their native language. They can talk their shit in their native language there. Obviously, us English-speaking guys may not know exactly what they're saying, so there's going to be a lot of translating that's going on. But if they're trying to open up a new market and gain some new fans in some certain areas, that's definitely the way to go about it. So I would say that makes the most sense, but I don't think really either guy deserves a title shot if they win next week. Evloev definitely doesn't, even though they have been scheduled. I think Evloev and Topuria were scheduled at one point, but regardless of that, I mean, who else do you give him? But yeah, like I said, this is either going to be a Volkanovski taking the kid to school type of fight, or it's going to be Topuria really rising to the occasion and showing everybody what he's about. And I'm excited to find out what's actually going to happen. This is a banger, a barn burner. So expect fireworks. That's what I'm expecting, and definitely tune in tomorrow, February 17th. It's going to be a good one. Now for the co-main event, Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. This is a tricky fight because Paulo Costa, coming off of a loss to Dricus, who is this big hulking figure at middleweight, similar to Paulo Costa. I would say that Costa and Duplessis have similar styles of striking, kind of a marauding, power punching style. That's not really how Dricus beat Rob. He just caught him with the jab coming in and then finished him off with a flurry. It wasn't like he held him up against the fence and finished him with the flurry, which is what Costa's predominantly of his finishes are. They're usually not one-punch KOs or anything like that. The Uriah Hall fight, he fought that Irish dude in Brazil, Johnny Hendricks. It's all going to be up against the cage, trap you in a corner, pound you out that way. But if we're judging off Costa's last fight, which I don't think that's fair to him, but it's all we have to go off of against Luke Rockhold, I don't see that there's a lot Paulo Costa can do other than catch Whittaker. But I think Whittaker, coming off the Duplessis loss, he needs to mind his P's and Q's, stay on the outside, and son of a bitch, this thing keeps... Technical difficulties, I'm sorry. And we're back. This thing, how do I... If you know how to stop it from just going to lock screen, please leave it in the comments so I can fix this problem for next time. If there is a next time. Probably will be. Who knows? Either way. Now, do these guys get a title shot? I don't believe so. I think each of these guys, whoever wins, depending on how they win, is probably 1 or 2 fights away from getting a title shot. If Robert Whittaker wins in definitive fashion, if he finishes Paulo Costa, he probably has more of an argument to fight for the belt. But what I think they're kind of aiming for is Izzy versus Duplessis. Who knows? That might be the main event of 300. Probably not, because it's coming up here pretty quick in a little bit over a month, so I don't think that's enough time unless they've already begun contract negotiations. I just don't know how well Dricus has recovered from the Sean Strickland fight, but I think that's a perfect fight right there. I just said it. Izzy versus Duplessis. Make that your title fight. And then Sean Strickland versus Robert Whittaker or Paulo Costa. Whoever wins that fight gets the title shot. If Costa does beat Whittaker in definitive fashion, you could arguably make the case that he could get a title shot. I wouldn't necessarily do it. If I was the matchmakers, I would maybe give him the loser of Izzy versus Dricus, and then if he gets past that person, then by all means, title shot. But Costa is a fan favorite. He's funny, great Twitter follow. So, I mean, just that alone, because he has so much fan support, I would see why they would give him a title shot if he gets past Robert Whittaker. If it makes money, it makes sense. That's what I always think when it comes to the UFC matchmaking. So that fight's going to be good. I have Whittaker winning that one. I think he probably wins it by decision, just keeping the distance, jabbing him, blitzing him, keeping Costa on the back foot. Basically, I think he just kind of overwhelms Costa and just kind of gets him thinking too much and gets him on the back foot. I don't think he's going to finish Costa. Only person to finish Costa so far is Izzy. And Izzy kind of was just basically counter-punching him, and I don't see Robert Whittaker as much of a counter-puncher. Robert Whittaker is more of an offensive fighter, especially working off the jab, waiting for reads, slips depending on what side, and throwing up a head kick behind it, like the Gastelum, Cannonier, Jacare, Brunson, that right head kick right over the top after throwing a 2 or a jab and watching them slip after a while, depending on what side they're going to. That one I have Whittaker by decision. Merab versus Cejudo. This one, I I have to go Merab. 9-fight win streak. He's a machine. That's why he's called the machine. He has endless cardio. He can go for days. Cejudo is 37 years old at bantamweight. That is old, guys. And he's even said if he can't get past Merab, if he loses to Merab, he's going to retire, which I like. I think Cejudo has done enough to deserve retirement. I think he did make a mistake that initial retirement, taking those 3 years off in the middle of his prime. I don't think that was a smart move. I think he could have racked up some wins. He could have probably fought the likes of Aldo, probably fought Peter Yan. I don't know how those fights would have gone, but those were his prime years to stay active. He would have been around like 34 right there, so right on the cusp of exiting his prime. I know he probably wanted to retire the champion, and maybe it was money negotiations that kind of like forced him to retire. Maybe he was set, and then he realized, oh shit, I kind of need to get back in there, whether if it was a drive to become champion again, or it was kind of more of a money factor. I know the guy has a family now, wife and kids, so kudos to him, but I don't know really what his motives are, but I agree with him when he says, hey, if I don't win this fight, I should retire. I agree with that. Let the division move on. These older guys, if they do stick around, be like a Dominic Cruz. I know Dominic Cruz probably wants to get back to the belt, but in all reality, the game has progressed so much in the years since Dominic Cruz has become champion that I don't really see him getting near a title shot or beating anybody that's kind of near title contention. It's just not in the cards for Dom anymore. He's in the same boat as Cejudo, just kind of older. He's been around for so long. There's so much tape on him. These other guys are so good nowadays, like the Corey Sandhagens of the world. I know Aljamain's moved up, so not him, but the current champ, Sugar. I mean, it's just a tricky situation if you are Cejudo, because it's kind of one of those things like, are you fighting to get the championship shot? Are you fighting to become champion? Are you fighting for money? What's your motive? If I had to guess, just because I know how much of a competitor he is, I'm going to guess that he probably knows how to keep this damn computer on. So I might message him. See what he knows to do to keep this shit running. But regardless of that, I'm getting comfortable. Don't knock me for getting comfortable. Yeah, Merab though. Merab, 9-fight win streak. He's a machine. Coming off the Peter Yan win where he, unfortunately, because I am a Peter Yan fan, dominated him for 5 rounds. And it was not a good fight to watch. It was honestly a horrible fight because it was just takedown attempt, takedown attempt, takedown attempt, takedown attempt. Didn't give Peter Yan a second to plant the foot. Will that translate to a guy who has a wide stance like Cejudo with the wrestling background that he does? Maybe. If you look at MMA math, which I don't recommend because it's never 100%, if Aljamain can compete with Cejudo in the wrestling, I am 100% confident that Merab can as well. If Merab beats Cejudo, probably by decision, let's all be honest. He's not a finisher. Really, neither of these guys are unless they're fighting really lesser competition. He gets that title shot. He gets the winner of Cheeto versus Sugar. There's no doubt about it. If they make him fight Corey, what are they doing? Come on. Then they just really don't want him to be champ. Then they're doing a whole Tony Ferguson thing where you're on a 10-fight win streak if he gets past Cejudo, and he still hasn't gotten a title shot. Let's not do that again. I know he may not be a fan favorite because of his style, but at the end of the day, you have to give him his due. Just like Leon, just like, wow, I just drew a blank. Leon. Let's go with that. Took a while. Bilal still hasn't gotten his title shot yet. It's probably coming up, but still is not on the books. And if they make that for UFC 300, I am going to be so mad, and I'm turning off the TV after Weili. Because I think Weili is the co-main event. Gaethje Justin is the feature fight. So the fight before the co-main event. Either way, Merab decision. I think it's going to be like 29-28 across the board. Garry versus Geof Neal. That's going to be good. This is a good test for Garry. I think this is Gary's toughest test. The Neil Magny fight, Neil Magny's a gatekeeper. I mean, even though we just saw what he did to Mike Malott, still, at the end of the day, Magny is Magny. He's going to do Magny things. He's going to either be like, all right, you're good enough to move on up through the top 10, or hey, sit down, you're still in the top 15, or whatever he's ranked at. But irregardless of that, Geof Neal is coming off the loss to Shavkat, and I think Shavkat's your future champion. He gave Shavkat all he could handle in that fight. Rocked Shavkat. I know he got finished at the end. I know he missed weight by a couple of pounds as well, too. Regardless of that, Geof Neal is a dog, and he will bring the fight to Iangarry. Is Iangarry slick enough and is able to keep the distance and put together combos that can frustrate Geof Neal? But if I had to predict this fight, it's either Geof Neal TKO, Iangarry decision. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen Geof Neal. We've seen him wobble, but we've never seen him out. So, judging off that, I would lean one way or the other. I'm not betting on that fight either because it's honestly a coin toss for me. I just know it's going to be fireworks. But I digress. Roman Kopylov, though, the big Chase Hooper, the larger version of Chase Hooper that strikes. He is nasty. He is nasty on the feet. I don't know if he's ever had a short notice fight in the UFC, but all I know is that when he fights, he is dangerous. He is looking to finish you. Head kick knockouts, body shot, like straight right to Frem. Put him down in that, when was that fight? That was September, the Mexican Independence Day, the Grasso-Shevchenko card back in last year. The dude's an animal. He is so good, and I believe in him. And I think the odds makers are giving a little bit too much respect to Anthony Hernandez. Don't get me wrong, the guy's good. You're on a 4-fight win streak in the UFC. You're ranked number 15 in the world. That's saying something. I don't think Anthony can handle himself on the feet. I know Kopylov has some submission losses. I don't think Hernandez has the aggressiveness or the athleticism to get Kopylov to the ground. I think Kopylov is going to make him pay for the shots that he does take, defend the takedowns pretty well, and I think he gets a finish because that dude is just nasty. I mean, he is a nasty man. God damn it. Let there be light. All right. A couple other key fights. Makenziedern's coming back after the Jessica Andrade horror show that she had where she got dropped 4 times in one round and completely shit the bed. I mean, I don't know what her or her coaches were doing. I think someone fucked up in that training camp because, I mean, usually Makenziedern, she's durable. She didn't get knocked out, but she was striking with her chin straight up in the air. She's never been a striker, really. She's always been known as a jiu-jitsu girl. At the same time, though, at this level in the UFC, you gotta have better defense than that. And this fight scares me because Amandalemos can fucking thump. She hits hard, especially for 115. I know she's coming off the loss to Weili Zhang, where she was basically wrestled 4 or 5 rounds, so it doesn't really... The styles kind of cancel out because Makenziedern just got TKO'd. Amandalemos just got held on the ground for 5 rounds by Weili, so it's like, this fight could go either way. Amandalemos is going to decision her probably, or TKO again. And if Makenziedern gets finished, she's got some serious moves to make in her career on how to advance because she's not getting any younger. She's not getting any younger. She's been in the UFC for how long now? And her striking's never been great. I think the only time she's really shown her striking is when she dropped Amanda Cooper, I think that's her name, and finished her with the choke on the ground, which, hey, finish is a finish. Got her there with the strike, but we haven't seen anything like that since that fight. Amandalemos should definitely beat her, and I think the rankings kind of show that. Number 3 versus number 7, Lemos being the higher-ranked fighter. I got Lemos winning that one. I don't know the exact lineup, so I might be going out of order. DeLima versus Justin Tafa is scrapped. But Junior Tafa, Justin Tafa's brother, is stepping in on basically 72 hours. Actually, no, maybe less, probably 24 hours notice because I think that fight was made today. Luckily, they're heavyweights, so no weight cutting needed or anything like that. I mean, if Junior Tafa can get past DeLima, who is ranked number 15 in the heavyweight division, that is saying something because, I mean, his brother, Justin Tafa, just knocks people out left and right. I've been saying it for a while. Whenever I see Justin Tafa on the card, I pound that money line because that dude is the reincarnation of Mark Hunt. If his brother is anything like him, I think De Lima's in for a rough night because De Lima's coming off that loss to Derek Lewis back in Utah. I believe that was his last fight. If it's not, sorry, but I know he got flying kneed by Derek Lewis and then pounded out. So, honestly, if you're losing to Derek Lewis nowadays, you're probably unranked or you got some serious things to discuss. But I got Junior Tafa on that one. I had Justin Tafa on my parlay, but that's going to get voided because the fight's off. I'm not going to remake a new one. I'm just riding. I'm riding Kopylov at the plus 200 if it's still at that with Merab Cejudo going the distance. Pretty good odds. When I made it, it was Tafa, Kopylov, Merab, and Cejudo distance. It was like a plus 800 odds. Pretty good odds for a three-leg parlay. So if it still gives you that option, I would pound it. I would maybe just say Junior Tafa de Lima is not going the distance. Excuse me. Some other noticeable fights. I'm going to butcher his name. Nakamura? If I said it right, great. If I said it wrong, sorry. That dude's a monster coming off the road to UFC, fighting out of Japan. He's good. He's good. Keep your eyes on this guy. He is really, really good. I like him a lot. I think he does really good things out there. And I expect him to win over Carlos Vera, who was on The Ultimate Fighter, the Conor versus Chandler season. Didn't do too hot. He is older. I think it's kind of one of those things where they're just trying to build Nakamura up, get his record built in the UFC, get him on a win streak, and then they'll start stepping him up in competition. So definitely I got Nakamura winning that one. What else is on the card? You know what I can do? Let me just turn around real quick. I apologize if this is unprofessional or whatever. I don't care. I just want to see what the rest of the card looks like. Don't look at my tabs that are open. I'm insecure. All right, now we're on the UFC's homepage, checking out the rest of the fight card here. So as you can see, Volkanovski versus Topuria, Merab, Hernandez, Lemos, De Lima. Yeah, Nakamura. Okay, I said it right, I think. Josh Quinlan, Danny Barlow. Don't know. Don't really know. I've seen Josh Quinlan fight, never seen Barlow fight. Val Woodburn is making his welterweight debut against Oban Elliott, who apparently is a beast. Fighting out of Wales, fought in the Contender Series. Recognize the face, don't recognize the name. Don't know when it was. I just know that he's a railroad worker at night, and he still works that job while he's training for this fight. They got him at minus 310. Val Woodburn basically got brought in to lose to Bo Nichols. So, who knows? Val Woodburn, short, stocky, power puncher. Might be able to clip him. But from what I understand, Oban Elliott is good. He's filthy in the striking. So, I think we got Oban Elliott by TKO. Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick. Decision or submission. And it's going to be Maverick because Andrea Lee sucks. Sorry, Andrea Lee. You suck. But yeah, that's pretty much your entire fight card there. It is a really good card. The prelims aren't that strong, but once you get to that main card, damn, it is fireworks. It is such a good card, and I cannot wait for this. It is tomorrow, February 17th. Make sure to tune in. It is going to be amazing. And like I said, this is my first one back in I don't know how long. So probably just do these for the big pay-per-views like $299 coming up. Obviously $300 because that one is stacked, even though we still don't have a main event. Dana White, if you're watching this, and I know that you are, give us the main event, which I don't know if you already have it signed. You're just waiting to make an announcement during this card just to get it more hype. What your plan is, but please, I'm tired of edging to UFC 300. Give us the main event. I am begging you. Please. But that is all for today. Tune in next time here. I'm going to put the link on my Twitter, everything like that. Like and subscribe if you like the videos. Nice and casual. 30-minute little episode, so nothing too crazy. But yeah, thank you for watching. Again, my name is Dustin, in case you forgot. Other than that, you have yourself a great rest of your day. Till next time, see ya.